Hello, my learned friends, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney. I'm currently up against my best friend because life is so fair. And I'm defending the guy who hates me for my race, so it's a great time. Oh, there you are, Otto. What kept you, my dear fellow? Oh, I'm wearing my gaming gloves. What are we doing? What are we doing here? Hello, Mr. Sholmes, Gina. I see Sherlock or Herlock Sholmes' gloves, and I remember that I'm supposed to. There we go. Now we're good. You sure about what you just said in there? That the boss, actually died the day before? It's pretty hard to swallow. Yes, I was shocked by the revelation too, Gina. As was I. Possibly more shocked than the both of you. It's not a competition, Mr. Sholmes. Gosh. But I was more shocked than all of you put together. This is the autopsy report in question, is it? Yes. It's strange that there's no time of death noted. I suppose there's a simple explanation, or perhaps it was a deliberate omission? Oh dear, if it was deliberate. It puts me in mind of the last case we worked on, and Dr. Scythe. I know. Anyway, it seems that on the day before Lord Van Zieks discovered that his body, Inspector Gregson was investigating the Red-Headed League, so perhaps something happened with them. Come to think of it. You had trouble with those League men too, didn't you, Mr. Sholmes? You were taken in by their trick. No. Naturally, I was taken in, as you put it. I wasn't taken in. My sleuth-hound interest was merely piqued slightly by the rare scent of the weekly £4 income. And that scent masked the underlying scent of deception, I suppose. The two criminals in question are the pair we saw being arrested yesterday, aren't they? In Mr. Sholmes' suite, I mean. That's right, sis. And it was me in the dock, thanks to tip-off by a good law-abiding citizen. Indeed, yours truly. So it's going to be that pair in the witness stand next, is it? Something doesn't quite make sense to me, though. The day before Inspector Gregson was found, you hadn't had trouble with the Red-Headed League yet, had you? Why would the inspector have been investigating them? Well, the likely explanation would be that Gregson's own sleuth-hound interest was piqued by the rare scent of a weekly £4 income. Don't tar with the same brush. Don't tar him with the same brush as you, Sholmes. Yes, well, then there's the whole issue of Inspector Gregson being investigated by Lord Van Zieks for some reason. The Reaper, the Red-Headed League, Inspector Gregson, Lord Van Zieks, and Katsuo. I feel as though he knew we'd arrive at this point somehow. Gosh, I think you're right. What's he really trying to achieve here today? All the answers will soon be revealed. Observe the time, my dear fellow. This recess will be over very shortly. Yes, you're right. Katsuo was determined that he should be the one to prosecute this trial. And he was determined that I should take the defense. Just what is it that he's hoping to make me see, I wonder? I get the feeling we're a long way from the end of this trial yet. Are you ready then, Miss Susato? Susato? I can't ever. That's fine. Yes. Here we go. Back with my BFF. Lord Van Zieks. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the closed court hearing of Barak Van Zieks, here present, who stands accused of murder. Now then, Prosecutor Oski. My lord. Have you summoned the witnesses as requested? Yes, the two members of the Red-Headed League who planned and carried out the deception. They arrived not long ago from the local prison by police carriage. Very good. Bailiff, usher the two men into the courtroom. These two men are currently being held by the police on suspicion of attempted extortion. You may admit your occupations, but state your names now for the court. I am Fabien de Russo. Oh, is that French? I can't do French, guys. We've established this. I can't even do English. A descendant of the great de Russo family from Nice in France. And my name is Peppino de Rossi. I am the third son of the greatest family de Rossi, the landowners from Napoli. The two men first became acquainted at a boarding school for European nobility. Those who graduate from Temzik are the future leaders of Europe. But, do you have any idea how boring it is to be born with the noble blood? Alas, I make my mission to get the better of the world by employing the little grey cells of my brain. That is all I am trying to do. So, that's the only reason for this whole grand deception you've been carrying out? Oui, you can say that. Not bad, eh? He has the great ideas, but the petty plans. This strange combination is a charm for the hilarious brothers. See, couple? I don't know how... I can't do any more accents. See. Listen to me, Peppino. I have two things for you to say to you. Maybe I'll just make Peppino Italian. I know they're not Italian, but... Eh? Okay? Are you about to tell me one of your grandi anecdotes? Aviva! Firstly, I want you to stop calling me with this capo. And secondly, we are not the hilarious brothers. This is a serious business. Que bello! There it is, the couple's trump card. The furrowed brow. I don't know. It is deep, capo. The furrow and the meaning of your words. The court has been led to believe that under the banner of the Red-Headed League, you have conspired to swindle money from unsuspecting members of the public. Is this true? Oui. I don't know French. And what exactly was the nature of this deception by which you planned to defraud? Alors, I will explain it. No, capo! Leave it to me! As you see, we both have the vivid red hair, no? At school, we were teased for this without pity, so it wasn't South Park's fault. The capo, yeah, he was many times behind the schoolhouse, crying like a Trevi fountain. Whee! Those dogs! One day the world will respect us redheads. Every night, he would bury his head in his pillow and weep it. This being Peppino enough. I will explain the rest. The first step was the newspaper advertisement. About 1 week before the plan was put into operation, we listed the same notice in every paper in London. Yes, we saw that notice. It was this one, I believe, entitled To the Red-Headed League. Oui, c'est ça? I don't know what that means. I'm honored that you have seen it. It states that the only condition for joining the league is having flame-colored hair, and that you satisfy the interview panel and are admitted into the league. And you could receive a weekly income of £4. On the date specified, red-headed hopefuls gathered in droves at a park specified in the advertisement. This sounds like the start of a terrorist attack. And from each person present, this pair took an application fee of 5 shillings. And with the money to France, it was a plan most elegant, no? No, it was most dishonorable. Dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow. But to be frank, I'm stunned anyone was foolish enough to be taken in by such an obvious trick. The park was described by one witness as choked with red-headed folk, like a coaster's orange barrel. And the day in which all these men gathered to apply was the day before the victim was discovered. Crucially, these two men spoke face to face with every single person present that day. Oui, I have seen more red-headed people in one day than I can see in the rest of my life. See? And now, every time I see the couples there, I feel sick to my stomach. Anyway, why have we been summoned here today? Sorry? The date for our trial was not until tomorrow, I was told. Naturally, neither of these men have been told any details about this trial. They've only been shown this photograph. Very good. So, Mr. De Rosso and Mr. De Rossi, you will now give your formal testimony for the court on the subject of the gentleman pictured in this photograph. Of course, sir. We are ready to help with the law. Here we go. We had more than 1,000 red-headed people assembled in the park on Lime Street that day. But I don't recall the man in this photograph. Capo? None, I don't remember him. Obviously, he is dead now, but I assure you, he was not at the park. Aurora, this victim has nothing to do with us. You have a lot to answer for, Peppino. It is your fault that we got caught in the first place. Is it now? You've given sworn testimony that this man in the photograph was not present. Can you be certain? Oui, I am quite certain. We did not interview with this man. Nobody looking like this came to the park. This I can promise. It must be noted that you have been arrested for grand deception, however. Accordingly, this court has little confidence in your assurances. Oof, with this attitude, we get to nowhere, huh? He's really a sulking now. This confidential document was obtained directly from Scotland Yard. It records an entry from the inspector's private diary dated the day before the incident. It reads, Lime Street, Red-Headed League, undercover. Ah, I have the answer. Maybe there was another similar event in the park on the day in question, eh? That is ridiculous. There's no question that Inspector Gregson was investigating the Red-Headed League, which means it's quite possible that's when he was killed. Very well. The defense may proceed with the cross-examination now. Yes, my lord. He's always so on edge. Calm down, Brianowski. It's okay. It's okay. Alright, we're going to skip to the end and press the last statement.
Hold it!
What do you mean by that? Cavolo, you promised not to say, Capo? After we had all the money that day, we should have left the country. That was my plan. I left the purchasing of the tickets for the ferry to to my companion here. But he bought them for the wrong day. Oops. See, but it's an easier mistake to make, the 1st, the 31st. I have no sympathy for you. We were an all day late for the boat because of your stupidity. And it's only because of this that the court called Great Red-Headed Detective caught us. Capo, you know what I think? This is the work of God, as a holy punishment, eh? Peppino, for the last time. This is no holy punishment. This is only your fault. Don't blame God for your unholy mistakes. You are making me sick with anger. Maybe make a mistake, but when it's time to eat the pasta, no one is the first. And I've seen the evidence. They haven't told us much we didn't already know. What do you think, Mr. Naruto? Well, if it was in the inspector's diary, it seems likely that he must have gone to Lime Street that day. And yet these two claim they didn't see him. I have to say, they don't appear to be telling lies. Well, they are experts in deception, don't forget. Sounding plausible is their specialty. They may be lying simply to avoid being implicated in this case as well. Surely if they were truly experts in deception, they wouldn't have been caught. Well, yes, you do have a point there. It seems to me like we need more information. Definitely. Okay, I don't recall the man in this photograph. Capo. But we only have your word for that. See, but what else can we do? True. Oof, if we are not having much fun these days. First we were arrested, then we are shown the horrible picture of a dead man. And now you have questioned every single thing we say. We are the victims here. A couple? No, you were caught carrying out a plot to swindle hundreds of innocent people. You had to bring that up, eh? It's not fair. A couple?
Hold it!
But according to what you said, you spoke with 1,000 or more people that day. Oui, that's true. My eyes are burning by the end of the day. Surely then, you can't actually remember every single face. How are you so certain that this particular man wasn't present? Normally, the red hair is very distinctive, eh? But not when you have 1,000 redheads crowding around. Then it is just an eyesore. But if there was some information you could give us, maybe then we would recall. That is not the line, Peppino. Remember, we do not remember him. We are sure of that fact, though. Is there was a man with a hairpiece, but his mustache did not match the color. Then I do not think we have forgotten him. Katsuma said these two had only been shown that photograph and they'd been told nothing else at all. What if I fed them just one other detail about the victim? Fish and chips, why not? I can certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had red hair wouldn't help you remember in this situation. What if I told you that the man was always munching on a packet of fish and chips? Do you remember a man who was eating incessantly? Not really. I was looking at only at the heads of the applicants. I wouldn't have noticed the fish and chips any more than the caviar and smoked salmon. Or a spaghetti! Me, I love the spaghetti! Really? I had no idea. Tell them again what you said before, Peppino. See, capo, see? I say it again and again.
Hold it!
Okay, I gotta skip ahead a little bit. I can certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had red hair wouldn't help you remember in this situation. What if I told you the man in the red hairpiece was actually a detective? Is the man in the photograph a detective? Yes. It would appear he found your notice in the paper suspicious and decided to investigate incognito. Sorry, but this changes nothing.
Excuse me!
Excuse me! Something to add, Mr. De Rossi? Rossi. Okay, see? I am always adding something. Parmesan, olive oil, pepper. And no pineapple on the pizza, though. No pineapple on the pizza. What I mean is, did you not agree with your friend's last remark by any chance? Eh? What did he have to say about the detective? Yes, that. Keep your mouth shut, Peppino. You have said enough already. But why, Capo? What is the problem? There was a man who said, I am an inspector from Scotland Yard. What? Order. Explain this for the face in your testimony, witness. It's simple. A man was at the park. There is no such man. Me die? What are you saying, Capo? Have you forgotten, eh? I have forgotten nothing. Nobody like this came to the park. Basta, Capo, basta. You beat that many things, but not two. The memory and the meals. Like I said, when time to eat the pasta, no one is faster. But you are inferior to me in every other way, so shut up.
Objection!
Okay. So that the damage is done. Indeed it is, sir.
Oui, there was a man who came to the park, and he said he was an inspector from Scotland Yard. However, he looked nothing like the man in the photograph. He was someone else.
Yeah, I know who it is. How can you be so sure?
Because, to start with, his face was completely different. See? It's true, it's true. His face was clean shaven, with his eyes were sadder, his chin was thinner.
No resemblance whatsoever, then.
Anyway, I was not going to be fooled. I took the obvious precaution and said to him, "If you're really a detective, show us the proof." See, the couple here, he doesn't take no nonsense. But he was well prepared. He said he had identification.
Identification? You mean official police inspector's identification?
That is most unconvincing.
Sorry, my lord. Counsel, no incognito inspector would offer his identification for inspection. It's quite out of the question.
Definitely. Why would he expose his true identity? Clearly, the papers were fake. Certo, capo, you are a genius. As we say in Italia, it takes a thief to recognize another, eh?
He is Italian? Oh, he said a city. Oh my goodness. That's right. I know that's... Okay. And what happened after he announced that he was a detective?
It became very annoying. He said, "You are under investigation." So I took his papers from him and chased him out of the park. It was fantastico! And look, here is the identification.
So you stole it from the man?
He had it coming. He made us very scared. But he was not who he said he was.
Indeed, the person described does not appear to have behaved as a true inspector would. However, I believe it would be prudent for these identification papers to be entered into evidence.
But I liked them.
Well, I suppose we should see what this inspector's identification looks like inside. Yes, it definitely looks fake, doesn't it? Out of interest, what name is given? Probably just something plucked out of the air. It's Tobias Gregson. Wait, what? This Scotland Yard insignia looks genuine to me. But how? And the department identification numbers details are all correct as well. Since when have you known those? Do you mean to say... I know it seems incredible, but yes. I think this is a genuine identification book issued by Scotland Yard. But that's unbelievable. This is the real thing after all? Alright. I should probably save quick. Okay, we're going to save, and then we are going to present the papers. Like, we should be in trial part 2. What do I know? Nothing.
Objection!
I wonder if I could ask you to examine this identification book very closely. Miss Lestrade. Why, Miss Lestrade? Isn't it Mr.? Wait. Huh? I thought it was Mr. Is it Miss? What's the gender of this person? What is your intention, your counsel? Is this really a fake, or is it genuine? That's the question, which we can't answer ourselves.
Objection!
Shut up. Don't be ridiculous. No Scotland Yard detective would allow his or her identification to be stolen.
That is the boss's. No question about it.
It can't be. As I suspected, the undercover detective who attended the Red-Headed League's enrollment on the day in question was the real Inspector Gregson.
carrying out an incognito investigation. The lords! And he's down for the count. Ora! But if the boss had his identification stolen, he would have reported it straight away. I mean, he was always on to me about it. If you lose something, report it at once, he'd say. Could it be, then, that the inspector was physically unable to report it? Physically, What are you saying? Unable to... You're not suggesting. Yes, it's quite possible that he was killed before he had the chance to report his identification stolen. No! Why are you so dramatic? He's always been dramatic, but like, you're really dramatic. Ora! In the court! The defense posits that the victim was killed the day before his body was discovered, at a different location. Do you two have anything to say about that? I know nothing. I don't know nothing. Pull yourself together, Peppino. Modi, you cannot be able to make a master criminal than that, non? I wish I had returned to Italia. Stop crying, Peppino, please. Please, otherwise Lome, stop with your whining and all. Stop talking. Well, I believe the court. I know nothing. I don't know nothing. But you will tell everything. Her face the worst possible outcome. Why are they crying? You will dry your eyes and testify again. About these identification papers and the precise circumstances under which you came by them. For crying out loud. Oh, they're funny. They're funny. Silly. The truth is, we took a prisoner and kept him for the night at our secret hideout. Even though I did think he was a real detective, I was too scared to let him go that day, just in case. We took the man's identification from him and shot him in the room next to ours. There might have been a little tussle, but we did him no harm, and the next morning, we let him go. He spent the night in a nice room. It was nothing like a prison. This is outrageous. You imprisoned the man. But no, see? No! It was not like a prison. He was very comfortable and calm and happy. A couple? It was never part of my plan. I swear it. Oof. So you think it was of my fault, eh? Just because I got the date of the ferry wrong by one little day. I do not think it was your fault, Peppino. I know it. No, por favor. Capo, it's not fair. Italian accents are so bad. You still have plenty of time for squabbling back at the prison, gentlemen. Oof. I don't believe this. How could they have been a real detective? Counsel for the defense, proceed with the cross-examination. So on the day before the incident, Gregson spent the night confined in this pair's hideout. I think it was the other guy, wasn't it? Like the redhead dude? The redhead dude killed him? I don't know, that's my guess. The truth is, we took a prisoner. What do you mean by a little tussle exactly? Good question. But it was nothing, just a minor incident. The false inspector, he was a real piece of our work, eh, capo?
What happened?
Oh, it was a disaster. We give him nice room. And what does he do? In the middle of the night, he tries to escape through the ventilator.
Can you blame him?
We chased him, buen sir, and we caught him again. Can you blame us?
Wait, you didn't shoot the man in your haste, did you?
Who do you think we are? Of course not. I simply got hold of him and took him back to the room.
Excuse me.
Mr. De Rossi. It isn't Mr. Why are you calling him a miss? Is something wrong?
Aye, me?
Something, yep.
Pablo, at times like that, you don't want to have a cup after you, believe me? And I speak from personal experience.
Personal experience?
That is enough, Pepino. There is no need to say more. The truth is, the night before he put the readily plan into action, I was scared. I was not fair to the couple, but I tried to run away.
It's a shame you didn't manage it.
But the couple here, he came after me like the turbine, and he dragged me back to the house, kicking and screaming. I still have the bruises to prove it, eh, couple?
Who had bruises on their neck? Didn't the last witness have bruises on his neck? Okay. Bruises, you say?
Ah, you want to see? You want to see my fantastical bruises?
Yeah, the neck.
That's enough now, Pepino. No one wants to look at any part of you. What to do? I show you why I don't. I show you why I don't.
You do. Now.
Aurora, if anyone wants to see it, then I'll do it. Ecco, you see? It's still very visible, eh?
That red ring around your neck. You got that when you were dragged back into the house?
See? The capo. Sometimes he's very rough. I said that's enough. Pepino's neck has nothing to do with what we are talking about here. You have my word.
Yes. What's your opinion, counsel? About this red ring around the neck? I wonder, does it matter? Well, duh. It matches the last witnesses. Mr. De Rossi, I'm going to have to ask you to amend your testimony with details about that mark on your neck.
Hey, capo, you see it? Everyone is interested in what I say, yeah?
Alright.
See, if you really wanted to know.
Can we present a... I don't think we can present a testimony yet, so we'll just press it, I think. Let me double check. I don't think I have a picture of any of the last... Okay, nothing on his neck. This case is interesting. Okay, we'll just press it. I'm not sure what to do with that information yet.
Hold it!
Are you saying that red mark was caused by...
See? A big collar made from a leather.
a leather collar?
Is this true, Mr. De Rosa? What? We had the Saint Bernard at home when I was younger. It is souvenir from that time, with a very strong chain.
A strong chain? And you put that around your friend's neck?
I'm sorry. I was so angry that he was leaving me alone. You did not tie the chain to a leg of a bite, though. I would not have tried to run again.
You didn't do that to Inspector Gregson as well, did you?
Treat the people to equal. Is Capo here's motto, eh?
It's starting to sound a lot more like a prison of all of a sudden.
The Capo is tough, but the Capo is rough.
Oh, I shouldn't have done it. So,
the following morning when you released the inspector?
He had the red ring on his neck, just like me. Peppino, Silver's blood. Leave it now. Now you know, the capoeira. You don't want to tangle with me, but for the inspector, it's not so bad. Okay, we're gonna save again. I think I'm just gonna present the picture of Gregson because I don't see a red ring on his neck. Let's see. Yeah.
Objection!
So the day before his body was discovered, Inspector Gregson was taken prisoner while working incognito. No, it was not like that. It was already a prison. It was an invitation to stay. It was only... However you describe it, there's one glaring inconsistency that remains. What inconsistency is this, counsel? I would ask the court to look closely at this photograph of the victim, Inspector Gregson. You will see that there is no red ring visible around his neck. Eh? But that makes no sense. It was me who took the collar of the man in the morning. And they saw the red bruises on his neck, just like I have. Given that the mark is still clearly visible on this witness's neck. Oh, can I switch it to, yeah, one sec. Yeah, one sec. This guy had, yeah, there's his red ring. Right there. We expect to see bruising on the victim, who was put in the collar more recently than Mr. De Rossi. Indeed, that is most peculiar. But what will I tell you, we say this from the beginning many times, Oui, Peppino's right. The man in the photograph is someone different than the man he held captive that night. It was the last witness. The beat-up one. It would appear then that on the day before the incident, the man who visited the park on Lime Street posing as the incognito inspector was not Inspector Gregson at all.
Objection!
If that's true, however, how do you explain the inspector's identification? This is a genuine identification book issued by Scotland Yard. It's inconceivable that someone could have stolen such an important item from the inspector. The prosecution made that assertion itself. And we also know that the inspector had made a note about the Red-Headed League in his diary for that day, which surely means we can't divorce the two events completely. The inconsistency noted by the defense is most troubling. If it were the real Inspector Gregson whom these two red-headed gentlemen had encountered, the fact that no bruising can be seen around his neck defies explanation. But equally, if they actually encountered an imposter, how did that person come to be in possession of the real inspector's identification? Does the defense have some plausible explanation, counsel? The whole thing defies explanation. It is for precisely these occasions that we keep meticulous notes in the court record, Mr. Nanowrimo. Because those are the facts, and the facts cannot lie. No, the facts can't lie. Even when they point to something so incredible, it's almost unbelievable. Well, my lord, the true identity of the person who turned up in park for the Red-Headed League's enrollment is revealed by information in the court record, I believe. Good gracious! Very tantalizing, Mr. Nanowrimo. So, why don't you help us all to see whatever truth it is that you've apparently seen? Who exactly was this inspector that appeared before Mr. De Rosa and Mr. De Rossi? It's an imposter. Just give me a second. He probably killed Gregson before to steal the identity. Though it seems incredible, I admit, the undeniable facts point to only one thing. Since no bruising can be seen on the victim's neck, the person who these two red-headed men took prisoner that day cannot have been Inspector Gregson. In other words,
Your whole argument up to now has been a waste of time.
Objection!
On the contrary, I haven't finished.
What?
There's no bruising on the victim's neck, so the question immediately posed next is, who exactly was this man in the park on Lime Street found to be carrying Inspector Gregson's identification?
See, that's right. We tell the same story every time. Whoever this man was, the couple dragged him from a pillar to a post with a dog collar. Mondo in Pepino is not so harsh as you say. So who was that false inspector, eh? Who was he?
Clearly, the defense has an idea about that. About the true identity of the man these two imprisoned that night. I must ask the counsel for the defense to elaborate post-haste. Who did the witness encounter in the park posing against Inspector Gregson? Me. Okay, it's either him. Why does he have a red mark on his neck? Here's the thing. Do I think it was him? Yes. I'm gonna start with him because he has a red mark on his head. Or am I supposed to not start with him because it's the other guy? I think gossip. Look, guys. This guy is this guy. They're the same person. Oh, he has a cleft chin though. Well, I don't know. Alright, we'll start with this one.
Take that!
It's surely no secret. This, no? Okay, so it's the other guy. Okay, I wasn't sure. Hold on. So it's the other guy because of the mark on his neck. I wasn't sure which one to start with. Okay. Okay, so is that him? Oh, wait, is that the guy I just tried? No, I did it him. So it's him.
Take that!
Okay. Goodness me, isn't that? So I think he is the other guy. Or is he not? They got the same hair, but he does have a cleft chin. On one of the witnesses who was in the stand in this very courtroom earlier today. A nameless man whose only occupation appears to be peddling hearsay to passers-by.
Objection!
What on earth would a street seller be doing with the police inspector's identification papers? Witnesses, is this the man or no?
What has happened to his lip?
Ah,
See, this man is not for the red of the league, eh? He's looking for the twisted lip league now.
perhaps rather than making such rash claim next time, you should bite your lip instead. It seems improbable, yes, but one undeniable fact remains. During his testimony earlier, I noted something around the man's neck. A red ring of bruising.
Eh?
What? Well, yeah. The defense demands Mr. Gossip be brought back to the stand. Order! Bailiff! Bring the aforementioned witness back into the courtroom, immediately. Yeah. Well, I never. An undeniable ring of bruising indeed. And identical to that the witness beside him.
What's going on here, eh? I've always had this, mate. It's a birthmark, isn't it?
A birthmark, you say? I assume the reason you've been recalled to the stand has been explained to you?
Aye, something about that inspector again. But I'm telling you, you've got it wrong as usual.
You're denying all knowledge of it.
Well, of course I am. Are you trying to kill me with this nonsense, eh?
Well, at least you have more stories to peddle back to Fresno Street, won't you? Now, we're going to need you to testify again. And you, Mr. DeRossi and Mr. DeRossi, I'm sure you'll cooperate, won't you? Do we have any choice?
We are a big trouble, eh, Capo?
That's quite enough dilatory chatter. Proceed with the testimony. Alright, what you got for me, sir?
The man who claims to be Inspector that day was definitely not this man. Is right, see? You think we would forget those green lips, sir? I never leave Fresno Street, alright? I got no interest in any red-headed league. I'm all alone in the world, mate. I'm no kinfolk or nothing. Why would I be involved in something like that? Just look at me, eh? Does it look like I could carry a disguise to the face like this?
It would certainly appear that we have the wrong man.
What have I been telling you? There is no need for this pointless testimony.
Ugh.
That's right. I'm just a simple peddler, remember? Fresno Street's all I know. How would I come by a police inspector's identification book, eh?
Well, yes, that's hard to explain, but... A brief cross-examination, I think, counsel. Very brief. Isn't there anyone in this courtroom who thinks I might be onto something?
I stand steadfastly at your side as always, Mr. Naruto. What is he up to? What is...
Okay. The man who claims to be Inspector Zede.
Hold it!
Well, yes, I don't imagine I'll forget those lips in a hurry either.
That is what I'm saying. For some reason, it makes me want to eat the Harold Fabian Correct and a Claire. You know, I've never seen the hair as black as yours before either.
Likewise, I've never seen red hair like yours until I came to Britain.
See? Maybe it's a national trait. Maybe all the people from this man's country have the grand lips.
No, lad. I was born right in Fresno Street, and I've never left.
Oof, that is a problem, see.
So you definitely didn't go back to the park on Lime Street that day, Mr. Gossip.
Now how many times do you want me to say it, then?
Hold it!
So, you'd heard of the Red-Headed League, had you?
You don't get a name like Gossip for nothing, eh? It's my business to know what's going off in town. I sold that tasty tidbit a fair few redheads that came back. Just between us, I even got sauerkraut for it.
Well, he does have a very red nose, if that counts. Who knows?
Well, as you can see, my own hair's not got a glitter red in it. And in any case, Fresno Street is my patch. You won't catch me siding up to other part of town. No, sir, not likely.
Excuse me.
Mr. De Rossi, huh? Me? What? No. No. Did those words make you think things?
It was the other day when I was looking for a place near the park. A small house or something. To be the headquarters of your Red-Headed League. Red-Headed League, yes. I visited an housing agent on Lime Street, and there I saw him. This man was paying money to the agent.
What? Mr. Gossip, with a housing agent?
Oui. He had some kind of contract in his, and they were clearly discussing terms. But no. You're mistaken, chum. I never left Fresno Street, me, like I said before. You mistake me for someone else, someone with the same face. No, the cop was right. I remember it too. He was paying the man with his banknotes. With notes? Like I said, that wasn't me. I was curious why this man with the dirty notes had so much money. So I looked at the name on the papers.
And what name was written? Mr. Gossip?
No, this man, he lies. He tells you that he has a known name. But in fact, his name is Hugh Boone. It's better than Mr. Gossip, I think, see.
Hugh. Uh-huh.
I'm a peddler of tidbits of information, like I said, on Fresno Street, and that's that. I don't like folk talking about my personal life.
Indeed. and it is not the intention of the court to invade the privacy of the witnesses. Very well, I shall respect your wishes, sir. The aforementioned name shall be redacted from all court records for this trial. Assuming no objections? Yeah. Huge objection. I was right. How did he add a cleft chin to his face? Was it from the swelling? It was not the swelling. I'm sorry, my lord, but the defense does object. Because the name just mentioned has a very deep significance to this case. Good gracious. Did you similarly object, Prosecutor Oski?
As it happens, my lord, that particular name has already been mentioned during today's proceedings.
Well, I never. In what capacity?
Hugh Boone. The name of the leaseholder of the room.
Let me put this very simply. The victim's body was discovered in your rented room.
I suggest, sir, that you start talking.
Well, alright. I suppose that might be the case, eh? So your real name is Hugh Boone?
Well, just between us, I don't like to blow my own trumpet, but there's no fun a peddler of tidbits in town. But hey, I happen to be able to afford a grubby little room and falling down backstreet townhouse.
You do?
And once every 6 months I go and pay the rent to the agent in Lime Street. Hey, I remember now. There were 2 vulgar redheads in there last time. Hey, if either of us is a vulgar, it is not to me. Zink again, Peppino. Why didn't you bring this up before? It's like I told you already. I don't like talking about my personal life. I'm a tidbit peddler as far as everyone else is concerned. No fuss.
You will update your testimony to include the surprising information, Mr. Boone.
If I must. So the leaseholder Scotland Yard has been looking for since the body was discovered has been here under our noses all along. That's what I said. You said, no, you're stupid.
I didn't mean to do that. Okay. What do we got here? Boone. Wait, is that not Boone? Oh, it's Vigil. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna press. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do. Why didn't we do that? Press. Q.
Hold it!
So, you live in that room presumably, do you?
No, I don't live there. What do you think? There's no bed, is there? Just a disc.
Then, why would you want to rent it?
Well, I don't think I should have to say, really.
Then how about the notice board in there?
Which was covered from top to bottom in confidential documents only the police should have had access to. Ah, now that board's not mine. The inspector must have brought it along. So the other bits and bobs that belong to me, the desk and chair and all that.
People don't generally carry enormous notice boards around with them. The real question is, why was Inspector Gregson killed there in your room?
Well, obviously I have not the faintest idea. I mean, it's causing me no and bother, to be honest. It seems to me that Mr. Gossip, sorry, Mr. Boone, would rather as little is known about his room as possible for some reason.
Yes, it does come across that way, and more importantly, knowing that the scene of the crime is actually his room completely changes things. In particular, there's one part of his testimony that's really bothering me now. That's how I'm finally going to undo this man.
Objection!
No, it didn't work. I was hoping it would work. Okay, fine. I don't know how you want me to show you what I know, but I know the identity of this man. Unless it's an alias. It's an alias. He's the guy who's missing, isn't he? Maybe he's a little too young, though. Maybe you could, say, with a mustache. Hey, perhaps. But if I was going to stick some fake facial hair on to cover up this fun specimen, I'd end up looking like a Zorchib over there, wouldn't I? Pardon? I assure you my lips are entirely unremarkable. Sorry, my lord.
Well, Inspector Grayson did wear a mustache, of course.
You're right, he did. So perhaps he was hiding something himself. He could barely have hidden a crumb on his mustache of that size.
And anyways, the detective we spoke to is no facial hair at all.
Good to know.
See, the cop was right. He was a clean shaven.
It certainly seems beyond the realms of possibility that this witness could have disguised himself as the victim.
Aye, it doesn't it?
Okay, what's your feeling? Well, Mr. says it's undeniable. It would be all but impossible to hide those lips with any form of disguise. Perhaps, yes, but nevertheless, the mark on is equal to undeniable. It's identical to the one Mr. De Rossi suffered. Yes, that's true. Okay, so we want to go to the end, I think. Alright, I'm going to save here, and we're going to figure out what I'm supposed to present here, because there's something. Do I have anything?
Objection!
Really? I mean, it wasn't Gregson's because, like, he didn't go there. So it had to it belonged to him then. Didn't it?
Objection!
I'm just trying different things. I'm so... It does, though. You guys are calling me stupid. And I'm not stupid. I know who he is. I just don't know how I'm supposed to prove it. Ah! It's fine. Okay, so the picture don't work. Oh! Oh my goodness, I'm so stupid. I forgot about the picture.
Objection!
I'm so stupid. I forgot about that. This is why I want to play it all like back to back to back to back. Because I make dumb mistakes like that. If you have no kinfolk, as you put it, then explain why it is that among the sparse furnishings, we found this photograph in the room. Ah! I presume, as you've been renting the room, that this photograph belongs to you, does it not? Oh, well. Mr. Boone, drop the pretense and tell the court exactly who you really are. I don't know what you mean. I'm a peddler. I keep telling you so. You really don't need to bother with me. Please, just leave it alone. As the man says. Leave it alone. Whatever the truth is about this man's life, it has no bearing on this case. I know you want vengeance, but, like, calm down.
because it's simply not possible that he impersonated Inspector Gregson.
Objection!
How can you be so sure?
Just look at the man. No amount of disguise could ever hide those unmissable features.
Objection!
But what if we were to look at this the other way around?
What do you mean?
Yes, counsel, what do you mean? Well, there's no denying that Mr. Boone's lip is very prominent indeed. But consider the possibility that his prominent lip itself is part of an elaborate disguise. Then hiding that prominent feature, in other words, revealing his true face, would make an utterly impenetrable disguise. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Hugh Boone? Good witness. Are you still hiding the truth from this court?
If that's disguise, then underneath it, his true identity must be.
Yes, that's right. There's really only one person he could be, so I was right. My lord, the defense believes it can reveal Mr. Boone's true identity to the court.
Oh, please, no.
Very well then, counsel. What is the true identity of this peddler who goes simply by the name of Gossip on the street? Where'd he go?
Take that!
Your real name is actually Mr. Vigil, isn't it? Daily Vigil. I don't recall the name, counsel. Who is this Mr. Vigil? It's a name I encountered yesterday, my lord. It has to do with a certain client of Mr. Herlock Sholmes. A young gentlewoman came to the detective asking him to locate her missing husband. The woman in this photograph, in fact. This is Mrs. Vigil.
What?
From what I understand, you haven't returned home since the night before the inspector was found dead. But of course, on that night, you were being held captive by the two red-headed League men.
And last night, you were put up by the prosecution service in preparation for testifying on this trial. Because we'd been led to believe that you, Miss Venus, and Mr. Sandwich were all homeless. Being important witnesses in this case, we needed to know where we could find you, of course.
And that explains why you've not only been unable to return home, but also unable to contact your wife, who's been beside herself with worry, waiting for you at the Vigil residence.
Now, just you hold on a minute. I don't have the first idea
what I'm talking about? Really? It's a simple enough matter to confirm my suspicions. All we have to do is pull off that disguise.
No, please.
Bailiff, bring soap, a sponge, and washable at once. Mr. DeRosa and Mr. DeRosa, you will restrain the witness.
Oui, my lord. Si, my lord. Ah! No! Stop!
Get off. They're surprisingly willing to do that.
Don't!
Y'all called me stupid, but I was right. Y'all called me stupid, but I was right. Stupid. You call me stupid. Me, stupid. Well, we are now seeing your true features, I presume.
Lift your head, sir, so the court can see your face.
It would appear that the defense counsel's assertion was entirely correct. This has all been a very elaborate deception. So, witnesses, tell the court. Have you seen this man before?
I don't believe it, but... See? There is another question. This is the inspector we saw in the park.
Extraordinary. That's crazy.
On the day of the red-headed lead, the man claiming to be Inspector Gregson who appeared before Mr. DeRosa and Mr. DeRossi in the park was you, disguised as the inspector. Or rather, was you posing as the inspector in no disguise at all. Mr. Visual was formerly employed as the chief warder at the Barclay prison.
The chief warder? Then your career had promise. Why? You would quite possibly have become the future governor of the prison. What on earth have you been doing peddling tittle-tattle at Fresno Street?
Well, it's been 10 years since Mr. Vigil worked at the prison. 10 years? I'm really dreadfully sorry about all this.
Yes, it's true. I'm Daily Vigil.
And you were the chief warder at the Barclay prison 10 years ago? So where did Hugh Boone come from? Boone is the other me. It's a name I invented.
Well, evidently there's a great deal under the surface here.
I'll explain everything. I'll tell you just how wretched my life has become. As you say, it was 10 years ago now that my employment at Barclay as Barclay's chief warder came to an end. Having left the prison service, I searched for some new occupation by which to earn a wage. But times were hard in London, and I found no suitable engagements at all. In desperation one day, I turned my hand at selling wares on Fresno Street.
But your wife appears to know nothing of this. She still maintains that you were the chief warder at Barclay Prison.
I was utterly determined that my wife should not know of my failings, which is why I've never told her. I opened an account at the bank under the name Hugh Boone, and I rented the cheapest room I could find on Fresno Street.
The scene of the very crime we're investigating.
Yes, that's right. A place from which I could emerge every morning at 8 as a squalid peddler, and transform myself back every evening at 5 into a well-dressed man about town before returning home. That quickly became my daily routine.
For 10 years?
I was puzzled by the lack of furniture in the room. But that explains it.
But why on earth didn't you just tell us this in the first place?
I have a wife, sir, and 2 sons, and without wishing to sound self-conceited, they regard me with some pride. I couldn't bring myself to disappoint them.
So instead you decided to conceal your occupation from them?
Yes. I've made such a terrible mess of everything. Still, one thing doesn't add up. No matter how many tidbits of information you could sell to passing gentlemen, even at 6 pence apiece, you couldn't hope to match the salary you must have commanded as chief warder at the prison.
Very true. To have kept your families in comfort, despite 10 years of somewhat misbegotten employment.
That was all thanks to Inspector Gregson.
What?
Inspector Gregson? What on earth? It was some years after I'd invented Boone and begun my other life as a street seller. He, the inspector that is, recognized me one day.
Do you mean to say the victim was an acquaintance of yours?
I knew him from my time working at the prison. When he saw what I'd become, he was deeply troubled for me and my family, and from that day forward he visited me on Fresno Street with increasing regularity. And one day, he asked me if I could carry out a secret assignment for him.
A secret? What was it?
I was to impersonate the inspector.
What?
Impersonate him?
He looks ready to stab somebody.
We always met in that little room so the inspector could brief me. Visit Orky's tomorrow and take a statement from the proprietress. It was always something along those lines, surveillance work, interviewing people. On those occasions, he would lend me his identification so people would believe who I was. My instructions were to make an impression, to let people know that Inspector Gregson had been at work. And for those services,
He compensated me financially. A Scotland Yard inspector willingly relinquished his identification in your care with an intent to deceive. That, as I'm sure I need not point out, is a very serious criminal offense. But why? Why was the point? What was the point of you impersonating him? I truthfully do not know. All I can say is the inspector warned me on numerous occasions. Now remember, Vigil, I need your solemn words. You don't blab about this to anyone, alright? Ever. Even if, well, if I end up a croaker.
Oh, fair enough.
In time, he started to bring papers with him into the room as well. It became something of a second office for him.
What kind of secret double life has this man had? Huh?
So, in fact, the person who declared himself to be Inspector Gregson at the park on Lime Street was really... Yes, it was me, acting on the inspector's orders. As usual, I removed my boom disguise, and then when I was instructed to the park, armed with the inspector's identification book. It never occurred to me that the bruise on my neck might give me away. That's crazy. Well, it would seem this confession completely destroys the defense's case. What do you mean? Excuse you? Explain yourself, Prosecutor Ossigi.
Yeah, explain.
My learned friend's assertion was as follows. The victim was killed at another location on the day before his corpse was discovered, at the hands of these two red-headed league men when they imprisoned the inspector.
I threw it out there as a possibility. I didn't say that's what happened. Calm down.
But no, that can't be. After all, it wasn't the inspector who went to the park that day, it was me.
Oh goodness. Finally, we have clarity. We had nothing to do with the matter of the inspector. And merci, Monsieur de la Defense, for proving it.
What?
Ah! So dramatic.
Order! Order! Indeed, it would appear that we have reached a de facto conclusion of sorts. These witnesses had no involvement in the murder of the victim, as proven somewhat ironically by the defense. I hereby call an end to this cross-examination.
Objection.
Hold it!
Oh? Oh! Are you my friend again? Are you my friend again? Is this what we're doing? Is this what we're doing? Pardon me, my lord, but with your permission, I would like to pose one further question to the witness. Katsuma. What question, counsel? It concerns the events of 10 years ago.
Oh. He's not here to help me. It's him being selfish.
I believe you would have been present at a very significant execution that was carried out at the time. 10 years ago. The execution of the professor, Genshin Osugi. Genshin Impact. I want to know exactly what your involvement was. Oh! Answer me, man! Answer me, man! Answer me! One moment, counsel. Is this related to the current case? Naturally. It is the prosecutor's belief that this case and the events of 10 years ago are inextricably linked. Does the defense concur, counsel? Katsuma, you're not yourself. You're not as calm and collected as usual.
He's never been calm and collected. What are you talking about? He literally threw a hissy fit the first trial of the first game.
Poor Katsuma-sama. No wonder he's acting this way. Mr. Vigil's memories of what happened 10 years ago would tell the tale of Genshinosuke's last moments, his own father. I know, I do understand that. But even so... Prosecutor Asagi. Do you genuinely believe that this request requires an answer in order to learn the truth behind Inspector Gregson's death?
I need you to trust me. Please.
Aha! Okay! Aha! Right. Me trust you. Fine. Very well. Then the defense has no objection. I see. In that case, you will answer the question, witness.
The truth is, I remember very little of that time.
You've forgotten? This game's making me torn about this man. I miss the days when I thought he was dead, and I was just like, oh, I miss him.
I'm sorry to say, yes. As I said, I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago. But for some peculiar reason, my memories of the events leading up to that moment is extremely hazy.
Does that not strike you as strange, Mr. Naruhodo? Sorry? Well, 10 years ago is a long time, but I've forgotten the reason why he left such an important job. Yes, you're right. And not only that, Mr. Vigil's claim contradicts what we already know.
The human spirit is a fragile thing. It's broken all too easily, which is why we have a tendency to wrap it up for protection. Sorry, the human spirit. I'm afraid I don't understand what you mean. When we experience pain and suffering that we feel unable to bear, we block it out, obliterate it from our memories, seal it away. But it never truly leaves us. If the seal is broken, the memories resurface. And when they do, that fragile spirit may finally be crushed. But I really don't.
Katsuma-sama.
But if it must be crushed, then so be it. Because the truth will not stay buried. It's coming out one way or another.
I can help. Right, now I understand. It's clear what his intentions are. He means to expose the truth at any cost. Perhaps if I pointed out the contradiction of what Mr. Vigil claimed earlier, it might cause some crucial memories to return to him. But should I? Should I present the evidence or not? Well, duh. Of course we're gonna do it. I have no idea how this is going to go, but this is a court of law and I have the duty to pursue the truth. Mr. Vigil, I'd like you to look at this. Evidence that clearly contradicts your version of events.
Take that!
Just a few moments ago, you made the following statement. I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago.
Well, yes.
In other words, you claim to have left the post of chief warder of your own volition.
Well, yes, of course. Why?
Tell me, do you remember seeing this document before?
No, I don't.
This is a dismissal notice ordering the immediate termination of a prison staff member's employment.
A dismissal notice?
And the name on this notice is yours, Mr. Vigil.
What? It's mine? So you didn't resign from the prison service at all? For some reason, you were dismissed as chief warder from Barclay. No, there's been some mistake. I'm sure. I'm sure I tendered my resignation. This dismissal notice is nonsense. Isn't it?
Are we trying to say he had a PTSD memory block? Because he got fired? Alright, man.
If you were forcibly dismissed, there must have been good reason. Clearly, you did something. Mr. Vigil, it's time to break the seal and have you remember.
What is this music? This is creepier than anything in the original game.
According to a few remaining records, the final execution that you supervised was the 17th June 10 years ago. And on that day, something very serious took place at Barclay Prison. The 17th of June.
Was that the professor's execution?
Professor, as you were the chief warder at the time, it stands to reason that you would have been present throughout the proceedings. It does sound familiar. And yet, that execution never took place. The convict, ostensibly executed earlier that day, later re-emerged from his grave.
This music is terrifying.
The convict came back to life.
In the cemetery in the middle of the night, there was a witness.
However, the witness claims that a moment after he saw the convict clambering out of his grave, a gunshot rang out from over his shoulder, and the bullet pierced the professor's chest, killing him instantly. Those may have been the professor's actual last moments. Yes. Seeing as you were in charge of overseeing executions at the time, you must know the truth about what really happened. It's in your head, somewhere deep down. Well, Chief Warder Daily Vigil, I know there are memories in your head that can explain what happened on the 17th June 10 years ago. And now it's time for you to drag them up.
Mr. Vigil?
Yes, the whole prison. It was complete chaos. The prisoner escaped. He was killed in the cemetery. The shocking news ripped through Barclay like a hurricane.
What? Order! Do you mean to say, Mr. Vigil, that your memories of the time have returned?
My head, it's like some floodgates have been opened. The images, the screams.
Oh, my goodness.
The papers. There were reports, articles about a man who'd seen a ghost.
Yes, Enoch Drebber. But surely those reports were exaggerated.
There were traces of the scene.
Traces of what?
In Lowgate Cemetery at plot number 139. Blood. Lots of blood.
I'm letting it rotate a little, you know?
That's where the man was buried, of course. Obviously, something terrible had happened there.
The depths of conspiracy and depravity from which this tale is emerging are quite staggering.
I've reviewed the police records from that time extensively. A thorough investigation was conducted by Scotland Yard to ascertain how the convict managed to escape in the first place. And the conclusion reached by the investigating team was that a member of the prison staff must have been involved.
Are you suggesting that a prison warder abetted the man's bid for freedom?
Yes, and I was suspected of doing it. Of using that mass murderer's execution as a way to help him escape.
You did what?
I remember now, the horror of it all coming back to me. One evening, a few days after the execution, some detectives came to the prison. I was called to the governor's office at the top of the watchtower.
I'm sorry, Daly, this is serious business,
but I cannot help you now. As Chief Warder, you are responsible for overseeing the execution of 4, eh? Well, It seems the fellas at Scotland Yard want to have a few wee words with you about it. You better pack your things, laddie. You'll attend in person. As soon as he told me that, my mind just went completely blank. And the next thing I knew, The professor, the most hated killer in our country's history. And I let him escape. I'm finished. My life is over.
Order, bailiff, fetch a doctor at once. Constable, what did you do? Court is adjourned for the day for immediate effect.
So, with Mr. Vigil's collapse, proceedings came to an abrupt end for the day. Once again overshadowed by the legacy of that notorious killer, appearing like a cursed ghost ship on a foggy ocean. Lord Van Zeeks, Mr. Vigil, Kazuma, and Gregson. All of them bound by invisible chains anchored to the same wreckage in the murky depths of the past. But the miraculous light that had been trying to cut through the gloom and shine on those tragic events was playing on the edges of the truth at last.
What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? I don't understand.